Yeah, it's done. So today we'll discuss about the volume, which is very important, guys. Remember, what is this being used for? Is for persisting container data and data persistence in container. In both ways, you can just persisting the container data. What does that mean actually? Remember, guys, the behavior of a container. So these all are the real-time interview questions you'll face. So the behavior of a container, when you terminate a container, all the data inside the container will be vanished. Okay, everything will be deleted. So we will not get back any application data or any logs. If you want to troubleshoot, it will be everything will be gone. So to persist the container data, to keep the container application data, you have to use volume. Okay, so you will get questions in the interview like how to persist data in the container. So you can see we can use the volume to persist the data, container data in our machine, in our server. Okay, suppose in Kubernetes, okay, in Kubernetes we'll see some persistent volume, that is different, that is called persistent volume, that we'll see how we can persist the data and everything. But in container, in Docker, we'll see having this volume created by ourselves and then attach into the creation of the container that will do that. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create a volume. So this, it's very simple again. Let me just close all these. Oops. So I have to log into the machine. That's three.
I think Docker server not running, Ranjan. Or oh, it's pending. Okay, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I have
Hmm.
started it.
Started. Okay, okay.
Still taking time to run. Okay, now it is has
Yeah.
come up. So okay, so let me start the Docker. It should not be running.
sudo system setting Docker strategy or strat Docker like that.
Oh, okay. Now what I'm
Yeah.
going to do, simply, so let me see the, what is the command to check the image? Quickly tell me.
Sudo image ls.
Hmm?
Yeah,
No.
sorry, the Docker image, Docker image ls. Sorry, sorry. Yeah.
Less. So okay, so we have two images. Now what I'm going to next, we will see Docker container run.
ls.
Sorry,
Run, okay. Okay.
no, ls. So nothing is there.
We'll see then we'll run.
I can use that. Okay, so two containers are there. So I'm going to terminate this container. So what is the command? It is Docker container. What is the command to remove or delete this container?
R RM.
RM.
Yeah,
So I
RM.
can use.
RM with ID, either name or container ID.
So and one more thing, guys, we don't have to type all these IDs. So if I just type for suppose 606, or if only four character, if I type also it will work. Okay.
Oh, okay, okay. Oh, there will be then for 60C0,
Hmm.
there will be no more the IDs with starting with then, no?
No more. These
It is
are
the
all
unique
unique.
one.
Yeah, these are all the unique.
Oh,
So this
oh, even all letters are unique also. Okay, okay, Ranjit,
unique.
got it.
Even though if it is, it will be there. It will display like which container you want to delete. Okay. If they are
Okay, okay, okay.
unique,
Uh-huh.
so you can delete it. Okay.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Now what we did, we just removed all the existing container from our server. Okay, now also we have two images. Okay, if I see Docker, okay guys, every time I always typing Docker. Okay, what is the easiest way to do that? Because it's taking consuming time, right? I can simply create aliases for that. Okay, I'm just going to create
Alias.
alias.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So every time it is consuming time, right? Alias, suppose I'll give Docker, I just give D, mm, equal to
Okay.
mm,
Docker.
Docker. Okay,
Within that execution.
okay.
Okay.
I'll do one more thing actually. So I'll give di for Docker image. Suppose di.
Oh, okay. And other one DC.
I'll make it as alias dc equal to
DC.
Docker container. So typing itself is
Content.
taking lots of time.
Uh,
So, okay. Now if I do
yeah, yeah.
ls hyphen a, it will show me the container. Okay, nothing is there. Di ls, so give me the image details. So guys, remember the last time I have created di docker image. On one more thing, good thing, I'm just going to, if you are writing on any exam or certifications, better to, before writing the examinations, just on the environment where you are going to practice, right, you are going to write any command, just make sure that you have created aliases to save your time. Because docker container, sometimes you'll be time typing and you'll feel like you'll see like the one typo error will be there, so it will be not working. Okay, so make sure first you create the aliases, keep ready, copy paste and make it done, and then you just work on that. Okay.
Oh, okay. So Ranjit, the exams usually okay. Maybe
So
some center will go. No, we need to appear there.
yeah, you have to go to the center, you have to apply anyway. They will provide you one id, right, environment where you have to type the commands, right, even though if you do
Okay.
online, right, they'll give you online based platform where you have to do some practical exams, right. That means they will give some scenario based, and you have to create container, you have to edit some file, everything that you have to do it. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
that type.
So sorry, Ranjit. Okay, please go
It's
ahead.
not only for
Carry on.
Docker. It's not only for Docker. It's for everything. I'm saying
Everything. Huh?
for everything. This alias creation is for everything to make it easy, right?
Everything. Yeah, yeah. That
To
is Linux
customize
command. Yeah, got it.
customers. So
Mm-hmm. So Ranjit, one thing actually. So for DevOps, is there any certification actually? Means I mean,
One second, I'm just getting some water. One second.
हाँ 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 please please. Bablu will do certification, okay?
Yes, yes. In DevOps only one certification is there, or for all tool we have to do certification?
Individual tool.
Hmm.
Each will
Like
be 20,000.
Git, DevOps, that means Git, Kubernetes, Jenkins,
Uh,
Docker. Or,
uh, yeah, at last you'll get 40 lakhs, right? I
yes,
will
yes,
get.
correct.
So you should see that amount also. Rajesh, please go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So okay, what are we going
Yeah,
to?
Ranjit, I was asking actually, like for DevOps, any certification or individual tool-wise certification?
No, see, we have one DevOps fundamental certifications that is we can do DevOps. We can do DevOps wise, but the tool wise certification is very important. Actually, that is actually has some demand. Like Docker, there is no certification, but certifications have Kubernetes administrator, Kubernetes developer, Kubernetes certifications are there, and Jenkins certifications there, Ansible certifications are there. So these are Terraform
Uh,
certifications also there. So these tools actually has huge demand in the market. They have their certifications uh, created. But anyway,
okay, okay.
at the end of the course and end of the things, you have the point is how much you know. Okay, how much thing you know and how experienced you are. So though the certificate is just a ticket to the interview or ticket to be selected for the screening, but the thing is how experienced you are is matter actually. um,
Correct.
I would suggest you once you finish the first, just focus to do one certificate at least, either Kubernetes or Ansible, or if you want to go for AWS certifications also, you can go for AWS as well. Okay, so at least you do one certification.
Correct.
So okay guys, so let's do creating the volume. Okay, so as usual, how we do, I can just type docker, right, hyphen help to see the volume management command. So we have, see, if you see here, we will have one volume, see, we manage volumes. So management command, one volume management command is there. So what I can do is just docker volume. If I do hyphen help, we'll find it out a lot more other docker spelling mistake. Okay, so this will happen if you're
The
typing
language.
right.
Alice.
Yeah, so
So
if
please create Ranjit DB.
yeah, uh, what we can see here, we have create, inspect, ls and rm and prone, right? So what we can do, let me just check if we have any volume exist. Okay, so docker volume ls,
Alice.
nothing is there, no driver, no volume there.
Nothing.
Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a volume. It's simple way to do simple volume and the create. Okay, create and the volume name, suppose I give uh, demo volume. Okay, demo vol, okay, demo vol, the volume name I created, hit enter. Okay, now if I do ls, we'll see one volume is created and driver locally. Okay,
Yeah.
so what I'm going to do it here, see, these are the few commands. So if you want to inspect the volume, you can inspect the volume. See, we have inspect command, right? Display detailed information on one or more volumes. So if we want to see docker volume inspect, okay, demo volume. So what it gives, it gives the complete details about when it created, what is the driver it is using, what is the mount point. This is very important guys, this inspect. Sometimes, what is this mount point actually? This mount point is nothing but your storage area where your data will be stored. So sometimes you will not know. See, this is the default path of the volume creation. So in the, you'll be worried, right, where your data will be stored. You have to check this mount point and go to this area and you will find the data. Okay, now we'll see in the real time. Let's how we can get it. Suppose so we created our volume now. So now how to start a container with attaching the volume. So with hyphen v options, we can create the volume. Right now, let me create one container. Okay, so what do we have to do it here? Docker. I'm going to use run. Okay,
Run. Yeah.
hyphen d hyphen
D.
name here hyphen people.
80.
Suppose I just go for 80. Okay.
80.
Uh, so what I'm going to this time do, I'm going to attach the volume which I have created. Suppose I'm going to have demo vol. This is the volume which I'm going to attach. Okay, and what if you see here in this command, what I've given it here, I've given a name DevOps class hyphen volume and the container ID, sorry, container directory. The container directory you have to specify. So my volume, the container directory, you have to understand which container directory you have to provide. Which container directory. Suppose I want to, so first thing, just try to understand the requirement. Okay, try to understand what you want to achieve it. That's the most important. The thing is, we are going to persist our application data. Our application data, or sometimes you'll be persist your application log data, logs, application logs. That time you have to provide the log directory information. Suppose in this case I'm going to persist my application folder data, that is w slash html. This is the thing I'm going to persist. Then I'm
Persist. Okay.
going to use the httpd latest
The image. Latest. Okay.
image I'm going to use. If you don't give your
Use.
also, you can,
It will download latest one.
yeah. So now our container is created now. So if I do dcls, see, our container is now running. So let me just go ahead and copy this.
Connect to there.
So what it says, it works.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Yes.
that means it come done. Now the folder var www.html is now persist the data, the container data, the folder container directory is now persist with this volume. Now how I can check this volume? Suppose tomorrow I deleted the container. I removed the container. So what will happen? The container data will be erased, will be deleted. So we'll not get the container data back. So now, as I already have created a volume, the data, container data, which path I have mounted here, the container file, everything inside this HTML file will be stored in this volume. Now, how I'll check where the data will be stored in the system? How can I check, guys?
That mount, I think, there now.
Yeah, but how would I know which, where? See, this is the volume, but I don't know the path where it will be stored. So in this case, what do you have to do? I don't know the path because this var HTML will not be there in this folder, right? This is
Correct.
because this path is container ID,
Container ID.
right? But I want to see this in the locally, right? If I go here locally, also this folder will not be exist. See,
No, no. Yeah, yeah.
how can I get this data, whatever the container data locally? How, where I can find it out? I was just showing before, right? The command.
Yeah, just mount that command will execute, and there will get the path actually.
Yeah, what is that
That
command?
mount, no?
No, no, no.
Yes, that I missed actually. Volume.
Inspect
Inspect. Yeah, correct.
demo wall. Okay, so what this guys
Uh,
remember, these things will be there. So what we can do here, docker volume inspect demo wall. So here we'll find the mount point. This is the mount point where your data will be available. See, just
Available.
copy this, go to this path. Okay, now we are in this path. If I do ls-l,
LS.
so your data will be here. As we don't have anything in our data, is nothing available here. So now let me update anything in this volume. Okay, let me update anything in this volume. I'm not going to touch any container. Okay, I'm not going to touch any container. I'm going to create one index.html file over here. Okay, and quickly I'm creating one HTML application.
But Ranjit, I had one doubt actually because it gave when you ran the server, so
Hmm.
it showed it works, na? So that index.html, why it is not available actually here? The other end means in our volume.
Yeah, I'll tell you one second. Let me create this one. I'll tell
Okay,
you. Yeah, that is good question.
okay, okay.
That is
Okay,
your
okay.
on index HTML already there, right? Why it did not it show up? One second.
Why it did not show it actually? Yeah, correct. Mhm. Yeah, please.
So I just created one index.html file over here. Okay. So what I if I do here, if I go and refresh it, it's not working, right? Now what I'm going to do, just let me restart the stop and start the Docker. Let's see what is happening. DCLS.
Okay.
Okay. It is stopped now. Let me start
Mhm.
it. What second ago?
Mhm.
It's not working. Okay. Let me just check what file path was mounted. Driver mount point is okay. So in this case, let me just troubleshoot why it did not work.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that is also real time actually.
Yeah. So what we'll
And
do?
so why it did not come?
Yeah. So what
Yeah.
we'll do? Let me just go inside the .dc exec. Okay. So hyphen it. So always, guys, remember this is Docker container exec. Okay. Don't get confused. Docker container exec hyphen it. Okay. And the container
Mm.
ID. Then I'm going inside the container. So now I'm
Bin
inside the
bash.
container. Okay, guys, what mistake we did? Actually, for container path is different. I gave var HTML, var www HTML, that is for the server, that is not the for container. So the container path is actually cd htdocs. If I go, this is the container application path, user local apache 2 htdocs. Okay, now if I do, the index file will be here only. Okay, that is the
Hmm.
root cause. Okay, so now what we have to do, we
Okay.
cannot now attach the volume. So what we have to do, we have to now remove stop the container or terminate the container and recreate it. Okay, so
Hmm.
exit. Now I'm going to do
So that volume we cannot use here now.
no.
When it,
No. This
okay.
volume we can use it. This volume we can use it, but the path whatever we had given
Uh,
while creating the container, which
that is
path?
wrong.
This is wrong.
Hmm.
That is why it did not
And
copied all the data, right?
it came up actually.
Yeah. So what I'm
Yeah.
going to do, I'm going to now terminate this. Let me recreate it. Okay. So what it says, error response from daemon, you cannot remove a running container. So what we can do instead? Quickly tell me. What do I have to do it here?
We have to stop and then do it.
Yeah, other way. Otherwise, forcefully
Then,
deleting. Okay. So I can use the option hyphen tab,
oh,
hyphen,
I've
hyphen,
we are correct.
hit enter. So it is now
Hmm.
terminated. Okay. So same thing again. I'm going to quickly do DC. Otherwise, I can just type it docker container run. Okay. Hyphen t hyphen name equal to Apache. So you just have to copy this entire path and give the image name. Okay. Give the image name.
Image name.
So just hit enter. Done. Now if I do dcls is running now. Okay. Now what I have to do, just refresh this and it will be,
Refresh this.
see.
Hello. Yeah.
Now what happened, guys? Uh, do you understand, guys, what happened actually? Why it suddenly because we created a new container. We created new container, but how come suddenly it gives the application? It should give me it works, right? Why it gave hello docker? I did not modify anything, right? I created a fresh container, but I mounted this container path
Uh-huh.
to this volume, and this volume
Well,
has contains the index.html with,
that container.
yeah,
Hmm.
the container what is mount to this path, right? So if I go to dc inspect docker volume inspect, so if I go to this path, let me edit something here. .html.
Hmm. Yeah.
So the data is now persist. Now let me go inside the container and let's see what is happening. Okay, so I'll go to the inside the container dc exec, okay, hyphen it, go inside the container. So let me just copy something here. Okay, I'm inside the container now. So if I go to cd htdocs to here, we have index.html file. Okay, so do cat index.html file. See whatever
Good
public
morning also.
here. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just modifying something here. Okay, I'm just
Here.
modifying something.
Here. Yeah. Correct.
So just do Nano. I think the vi editor will not be there. I'm just using nano. So nano also is not here. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going
Oh, okay.
simply, anyway, so let me so okay, anyway, this is I'm just showing you in the reverse way of, I'm just going to add a file in the container application folder, and let's see whether that is being reflected there. So I'm just going to use torch command,
Yeah, yeah. File addition.
just going to create a file,
Mhm.
torch.txt something. So if I do here, I think it should be reflected here as well. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, so let me exit from, come out from the container, and if I see here, see the test.txt here.
Yes.
Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to terminate the container, because the container is having the all the data whatever we have already, it is mounted to our nearest volume, right? So if I remove the container
Mhm.
now, docker container dc rm hyphen f apache ui, so it is now removed. So the container is no more there. Okay, dc hyphen a, the container is no more there, but our data will be still persist. See, our data is still
Yeah, in volume.
right. So
Yes. Mm.
tomorrow, this is a real-time scenario. I'll tell real-time work when in your organization you will be working with containerization. So you're creating applications and hosting in the container. You should always have volume created, and those volumes to be attached to some particular areas of your file. Okay, now
Mm.
what I'm going to do, so guys, here what we did, we created a single volume and mounted a single path. Tomorrow there will be a requirement, you have to mount different path, container path to the different volume. Suppose I'll create two volumes, one for application data, one for logs. So I'll create one volumes for logs and attach to the log folder or log directory of our container. So what will happen? All the logs will be saved in our container, in our host path. Okay. So
Mm.
this is the real time you
Yeah.
have to set off. Okay.
Requirement. Yeah.
Yeah. So any doubt, guys, so far in the volumes we'll discuss, or else we'll move to some other topics. So this is the small volumes creations and working with the volume part in the container. But in Kubernetes, we'll see a different concept that is called persistent volume. That is a different concept. We'll see same concept, but in a different way. We'll see. Okay.
So Rajat, one doubt actually. So like for a one volume,
Mhm.
can't we uh, means let
Yeah, I
as you
understood.
told, no?
I understood. Yes, it
So
can.
multiple one to many.
Yeah. So okay. Now what will happen?
Uh-huh.
Let me create a few more containers. Okay.
Mhm.
I'm just quickly creating. Suppose this is the container created, and this is Apache UI. I created one container, and now I'm going to create another container. Okay. I'm going to create another container, and this time I'm going to give port 82. Same port you cannot run, remember, and same name should not be there, so I just give it UI1 created, and then I'm going to create another container 83. What happened? As it is the same name, it did not work, so I have to modify the name as well. Suppose I have to give UI2 here, to give UI2. Now third container created. So if I do ls, we'll see we have three containers running. Okay, now let me just refresh this. It will be still there because we create a new container.
Ah,
Okay, now this is the container running for 80 port. Okay, now let me copy this, go for, and it should be 82. See, same thing there. If I go for this, I'll go for 83. It will not work because the firewall will not open. So I'll just quickly go and open the file.
Not.
So go to the security groups. Okay, so 83 and this all are same. See,
Okay, yeah.
82, 83. So how many? See, in one server itself, I created multiple containers, three containers, and three containers are attached to the same volumes. Suppose I am
Single
going
volume.
to edit something here. So let me add one more line over here, and I'm going. So everywhere, if you all the containers, same application, same container will be running. See, all these things have been done. Now what we see, the volume concept is very clear now. Okay, now suppose all this container is so guys, suppose I don't want this container port 83 run to this application. I just have to create another application. So what we have to do, same Apache server will be there, but my index.html file will be different one. Means my application will be different application.
Oh, okay, okay.
So how we have to do it? Simply, guys, Siva, can you tell me how I have to do it? I don't want this
I will
container. Okay, same thing, guys. What I can do, simply, let's do this. So what I have to do, simple, use Docker volume create. I have to create a new volume. Okay, volume. I just create a new volume demo.
Okay, okay. And attach this volume to that 83 port, that
Exactly. I
container.
created a demo volume. Okay, so inspect. So this is the path. Okay. So if I go to these volumes, right, I'll find volumes created. See, this demo vol and demo vol 3 and underscore data is the path. Okay. Now let me copy is this? Okay. Simple things.
It is
Okay, so I created one volume and deployed my application over there, but my container is still the 83, that container. Okay, UI2, right? Apache UI2. If I do a DCLS,
uh-huh.
this Apache UI2, which is pointing to 83, is still pointing to the old volume. Okay, is still pointing to the old volume. So how would I know that which volume it is attached? Guys, can anybody quickly tell me? How would I know that this container is attached to which volume? This is also real-time work, and questions also you'll get it. You may or may not get it, but it's a real time, you have to work it. How would I know this? What is the command to check? I already have told you. But I will
That
ask you.
Docker volume,
Mhm.
then
Okay. So what do I have to do? We
persist.
have no. We have to. We have another command called Docker container inspect also there. Okay, container inspect, and then
Oh,
container ID. Okay.
It is Docker volume inspect.
No, volume inspect to inspect the volume, right? But volume inspect
Oh,
only if I do, the volume is attached to different volumes, right? But I need which container is attached to which volume. Yes.
okay.
Ah, too good.
that's very yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Now
yeah.
you can inspect the container ID, and here you can find, see, lots of informations you'll find, guys. Okay. Now you'll find, suppose, the volume, right? Here, image, which host path, which, what is the log, everything is there. See, it binds to this demo vol is the volume. Okay, and another way you can find it out easily is to do a graph hyphen I
Yeah, great. Yeah, yeah.
volume. Okay, so you see, this type is volume. In the volume sections, you can use this volume graph, and you can easily find it out, the volume and the name, demo vol. Okay, so or else what you can do, in the simply inspect and go to the volume sections. Here, this is networking section. Here, the volume config mounts. Okay, here the mount section. In the mount section, you'll find what is the name of the volume. Type is volume, name is demo vol, source is, this is the source, destination, this is the destination, right? Everything you'll find it out, right? So you have to know this troubleshooting command, inspect, to inspect everything,
Uh-huh, yeah.
right? Now this is mount to this volume. Now I don't want this to be mounted, I want this to be mounted to a different volume. Okay, Now let me clear this. So what I have to do, I have to just do this CLS. And remember guys, during runtime only you can attach the volume. Once a container is created already, we cannot attach it another volume. So what you have to do instead, you have to terminate and recreate the volume. Okay, so we recreate the container. So I'm going to terminate quickly. Docker rs.
So previously also we did na Ranjit.
Yes,
Once
yes, yes.
path we gave wrong na
Uh,
bar HTML www
yes, we have to do same way. Okay, and
same way.
then I'll just write docker container. This command guys, remember, okay, run. Okay, let me ask you one question. What will happen if I run docker container run to create a command? Can you tell me the steps process? What will happen in the steps if I run the docker container command run command docker container run? What will happen? What is the flow of creating the container creation flow? Can you tell me?
Yeah, in the last class you told na so
Yeah, okay. So that's why. That when you are not remembering, also you are not practicing. How will happen?
yeah Ranjit, that's correct only.
Anyone?
Then
Anyone remembers or anyone have
name,
practiced?
then port number,
No,
then
no, no.
which
No, that is okay. That is the command I am typing. That's okay. What will happen when I hit enter? Okay, so let me just type everything here. 8380. Okay, in 8380, we what is this port? 80 and what is this port?
uh, 83 is the
host put
83 is the.
host port.
So remember see these things. Okay, you have to always remember this is a host port and this is container port. Remember these two. And
Container.
hyphen p is hyphen p is publish. Okay, to publish the 80 container port to 83.
Uh-huh.
I forgot the path thread.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Uh, what was the path, guys? Container path. It was user local Apache 2. Okay, user local Apache 2 htdocs. Is it correct? User local Apache 2 htdocs, right? I think it's correct one.
Mhm.
Or else we can do. Okay. What I'm going to do, inspect again. Yeah, user local Apache 2 htdocs. User locally local Apache 2 htdocs. Okay, correct. So,
Yeah, correct. Mhm.
okay. Now, what will happen here? Okay. So, I hit enter of this command, entire command, and it is created the container. Can anybody tell me the container creation flow? How the container gets created? The entire flow, starting from the end. What will happen? The simple question: what will happen if I run container run command, docker container run command? What will happen? How the container will get created? What is the flow? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. this you'll get a different definitely interview questions. Okay. So the
Uh-huh.
flow is when you run the first the daemon, what it will do, it will locally search for the image, right? It will locally search for the image,
Yeah, yeah, correct. Uh-huh.
right? If the image is not available, what will happen if the
Uh,
image is not available, it will
to the
it will
repository
it will pull the image from the registry and then
registry. Yeah.
create container out of that. That is the flow. Okay, that is the
Uh,
flow. First it will search for the image because the container creates out of the image. If the image is not there, but in this case whatever image we are providing it here, whatever the image we are providing it here, the image is locally available. The image is locally available, that's why it is just simply creating the container, because the image is locally available. Okay, if I
uh,
remove this image, I'll see in my next one, I'll show you. Okay, now let's see this one. This is 83. If I refresh this, see, I am inside Docker 83. If I this one is still there, these two are pointing to a different volume and this is pointing to a different volume.
volume.
Got it. So now how many volumes I have? I if I go here, do Docker dv, I think. Oh, okay. See, if I do it here, I have two volumes, Docker vol and Docker vol 3. Okay. So okay. So volume itself, it took lots of time. Okay. Volume is clear now. Let's quickly jump into the other thing. Okay. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. So, but before that, let me create another. Let me delete all the images.
Yeah.
What will happen if I delete the image? It will not allow me. It will show. It will tell me like the
Running
image is not running.
in
The
use.
image is used by the
In
container.
use.
It is
Yeah, yeah.
unable to delete because it is being used by the container. Okay. So instead, I can use rm hyphen f to
Yeah, sure.
hyphen f.
Forceful.
Okay. See, it is say it cannot be forced also. It cannot be forced also.
It
We
can
have
be
to,
forced. Mhm.
so we have to stop the container and then do that. Okay.
Then delete it. Okay.
So okay. Now we covered the Docker volume. So this volume part of why I took lots of time, because 1 hour completely took for volume alone. Okay. That's, I think you'll not have any single doubt against the volume. 1 hour is too much.
Because in between we asked some queries, na, so because of that only one to many connection, many to many, so that that way
That's okay. That's
maybe
we
because
covered
of
lots
that
of
one.
things now.
Hmm.
Okay. What
Yeah, lots of things. Yeah.
So what we are going to do now, let's simply, okay, now we'll talk about the tag, copy or create image out of the existing image. That will be a question actually. Okay, to get history of the image, layer of the image, you can just use Docker history, Docker image history. The command is Docker, suppose the image, whatever image I have, Docker edils. So what I can use Docker image di, Docker image history, and suppose this
Then
layer I want to see what are the layers are there. Okay, and I can say layer test. See, complete history it will give you. Okay, this is this is one of the inbuilt, like already existing image we used, but whatever the image we create, that will give you the complete history of the image, who has modified what are the things being added, everything it will give the in the history command option. Okay, now what I'm
okay.
going to create, suppose I'm going to create my I'm to from the existing image I'm going to create another image. Okay, from the existing image, suppose this is the existing latest image, I want to create a different name or different tag for that. Okay, so how I'll do, by using the docker tag command, docker image tag. Okay, now what I'm going to do here, suppose, okay, docker image tag, remember tag. If you don't remember what is the command, you can use hyphen hyphen health. So we have the history, we have the inspect load, we have the tag, created tag of the image. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I have to use docker image tag, then which image I'm going to tag, that is suppose httpd latest image I'm going to tag to a different tag. Suppose I want to for docker for Ranjit. Okay, so what happened here, I created, if I do dils, we'll have three images now. See, I have docker for Ranjit httpd tag, I gave 1.2, I gave 1.2, got it?
Yeah, yeah.
So this is my docker for Ranjit httpd 1.2 is my image name. So how I can put this image into registry? Okay, how can I put this registry? So let me create another image with a different name. Suppose this I'm going to put as Apache UI colon 1.1. It's not a valid repository tag.
Must be lowercase.
It should be
It's
lower.
all lower.
It should be all lowercase. Okay, Apache UI 1.1,
Mhm.
1.0.2. Yeah, it should be all. Remember another thing, it should be all lowercase. Okay, so
Lowercase.
dils. So see, I have one created called Docker Ranjit Apache UI, and the tag. This is I want to push this one to my registry. I want to push this one to my registry. So what you have to do first, actually, you have to log into your Docker Hub. First, you have to log into your Docker Hub, right? So what is the command? It is called Docker login hyphen hyphen the username equal to your Docker Hub username, and then once you enter it, it will ask for the password. Okay, suppose I am just going to use Docker login. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the, sorry, hyphen hyphen username equal to, what was this here? Docker Hub username, right? So Docker Hub username is mine is Docker for Ranjit.
For
This is
run.
username.
Mhm.
Just hit enter and it will ask for password. So let me give my password here.
Password.
So login succeeded. What it says? Login succeeded. Now I want to, once you log in to your machine, you have to then push the image, right? So I want to push this image. So what is the image push? It will be Docker push. Okay. So it will be Docker push,
Docker image.
the repository name and the image name. So it is simple, like git push, we have to use Docker push. Okay. Docker push, then the image, I'm going to give this entirely, and colon 1.0.2. Okay, so here the format is the first one should be your registry name, otherwise it will not work. The first one should be your registry name. Okay, if I give a different registry, let me just give an example. Suppose I give, instead of Ranjit, I gave Rakesh, Dr. for Rakesh. Okay, this way. So what it says, the push referently an image does not exist anyway. So the repository refers to Docker for Rakesh itself, it is not there. Okay, let me just change it. Anyway, the image name also different, Ranjit. Okay, and hit enter. So what it says, it's just, see, mounted from library HTTP. This image is going to be pushed now. 1.0 digest, and this is pushed. If I go to my registry now, of dot docker,
I can see another tag.
see here, Apache UI. A few seconds ago, it is updated.
Few seconds ago.
Okay, a few seconds ago, it is updated. So if you want to, suppose, download this in, let me remove, stop all the container first. DCLS. Okay, now I'm going to remove all the images. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
okay, so all images are actually deleted. I'll tell why this errors. Oh, okay, no such container. Oh, the command itself we gave wrong. It should be RMI, Docker RMI. Okay. Error response from daemon, conflict unable to delete, must be forced. Okay. RMI hyphen F.
Mm.
Okay. So it is deleted now.
Yeah. Mm.
Okay. 1 second.
Yeah, yeah.
So now we have deleted all the images now. Okay. Now I want to get my own image, whatever the image is created. Suppose I'm working for an organization and this is my project. We have created the image, project image, and kept it here. So what I have to do, I have to just go to this image and what is, see, it gives automatically the push and pull options here. Okay, Docker command does push new
Yeah,
tag.
yeah.
It is already there. So suppose I want to pull this tag, what I have to use, I have to suppose give the tags, and here just copy this one, docker pull docker for Ranjit. Okay, and I can get this one. Or if suppose, let me delete, the container is not there, what I'm going to do, copy, not entirely copy, only this. I'm going to cut. Okay, I'm going to create a container now. So what I'm going to do here, simply clear. Okay, just give the pwd to get this volume. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a container, docker container dc run hyphen d name Apache UI 0 0. Okay, now attaching this uh, volume, suppose demo vol 3. Attach demo vol 3 to the path called user local apache to stdocs. Then you have to give the image, right? What is the image? It was docker for Ranjit slash it was Apache UI. Okay, Apache UI and give the version, which version 1.0.2 and hit enter. See what it did first, unable to find image locally. This is the flow. This is the
Local.
container.
Mm-hmm.
So then it pulled the
Okay.
image from the registry and then it created the container. Okay, first locally search, not
Yeah.
find, you pull the image and then create the container. Okay, so if I, so our container is now created, dcls container is now created. If I go and refresh, get the IP, so volume 3 is attached. Okay, 83, that is the things attached, right? So now you understood what is the container, docker tag, how to create your tag the image and push into the registry. Okay, so that's all guys, we finished everything related to the docker and all. So this docker networks and everything, right? Docker networks and inspect, remember we have different network class for this docker and container in our kubernetes section, so that time we'll discuss about the networks. Okay, so but the different the
Okay.
commands we can see it here. If you use docker network ls, you'll find, see, so default network is bridge network, so we are working on the default network. Suppose you want to inspect about this network, so there is a command called docker inspect and the driver name or the network id or the network name, so you can just put it there and you can inspect it. Okay, so that's the command there for network. So that's all volume we discussed, attach and all. So next we'll talk about Dockerfile. Okay, so guys, we'll little bit discuss about the Dockerfile, but in next class we'll work on the Dockerfile. If I give everything in one day, you may forget or anything. So let's discuss little bit about the Dockerfile. Okay, what is this Dockerfile?
Yeah, yeah, Ranjit, correct.
Yeah. So I was telling you about creating our own custom image. So to creating our own image, we have to use this Docker file. Like in Jenkins, we have completed our Jenkins class, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What is the file name where we write our pipeline? What is the file name? If you tell, then somehow you will be ready for the interview. If not tell, then you have to go from the again beginning.
Big-
What is the file name to create the pipeline? This question we ask in the interview. Still, I sometimes ask in the interview when I take
Uh-huh.
to
Intervals.
check whether this guy has really worked in Jenkins or not. What is the file name to create to write the pipeline? We have how, what type of jobs you can create in Jenkins?
Uh-huh.
The project, what type of projects or what type of jobs you can create? You can create freestyle projects, right? You can create freestyle job, and you can create pipeline job, and you can create multi pipeline branch job, right? So
Multi-branch.
my question is, what is the file name to write the pipeline job, to write the pipeline as a code, right? What is the file name? So it will be
Name is Jenkins file.
yeah, it is
Jenkins
Form
file.
file?
Jenkins file.
Jenkins file.
Jenkins file. So the file name
Sir,
is
you write it.
Jenkins file. I had already showed you. If not, just go to the pipeline lab class. Okay, the video, just go through that, and everything is there. So Jenkins file. For Jenkins file, it is simple text file. You have to write the DSL, like domain specific language. The so okay. Let me ask 3 questions from Jenkins again. What is the type way? What is the type of how many types like way you can write your code? The 2 types of languages you can use.
One. Yeah. One is like the scripting level, na, how we are doing on there we'll write actually on the same screen.
Yeah.
And one more is uh,
One is the pipeline declarative. One is declarative way. Another is the scripted way. Declarative and scripted. So remember these two.
scripted.
Okay. Yeah, declarative is simple pipeline syntax you have to write, and scripted is you have to write the groovy script to write the pipeline. Okay, 2 ways you can do simple pipeline syntax, pipeline as code. You can use DSL, and the other one you can use scripted one where you are going to use this groovy syntax. Okay, so these things, guys, simple things, basic things you should remember. Otherwise, they'll feel like you have not worked.
Not word. Yeah, you're
These
correct.
yeah, these things will come when you do practice. Until unless these things, it will not come in your mind. I'm not overhead overburdening you. I'm not overburdening you. The thing is, only you just learn 3 tools. That's more than enough. Not go. I'll teach you 6 tools, but you focus on 3 tools. Okay, I'll teach you 6 tools, but you focus only 3 tools. That is Jenkins, Docker, and Kubernetes. Ansible is somehow requirement is there. Few companies they are going for Ansible also. If you can remember Ansible, that is also very good. Okay, but demand is Jenkins, Docker, Kubernetes. These 3 are more demand. Ansible also there, but these 3 are more demand.
Yeah.
So that's why don't see. It's very simple, guys. Just give 10 days or 15 days or 1 month to a tool. Not 1 month, a little too much. If you are so hurry and so eager to join a new company or new job, give 15 days at least, 1 hour, 15 hours to a tool, and you'll be master. If you do everyday practice, 15 chapter, 15 things, I think I have covered. If you go 15 or 20 things, or there are only 5 videos, I think. If you cover all these 5 videos, everything, whatever there, so that is what I delivered to you. But from yourself also, you have to do something, right? You have to do your own projects by learning everything you have to do by yourself. If you don't do, you will be lost.
Yeah, and correct. Yeah.
So I always tell people like do practice until unless you do practice, and until unless you know the path how to go, you will not understand exactly. Okay. Okay. So Jenkins file is used to automate the stuffs and write the pipeline as code in Jenkins. Okay. Similarly, in Docker, we are using Dockerfile. We are using Dockerfile. This is also, what is a Dockerfile? A Dockerfile is a text document that contains all the commands a user could call on the command line to assemble an image. Okay, so we have to create an image by writing the Docker file. So in the Docker file, it is simple doc text file, and where you have to write the instructions, what is required to create the image. Okay, so the Docker build command builds an image from the Docker file and a context. Let me highlight this too. Okay, context. So from a Docker file, one second. Okay, so the Docker build command builds an image from a Docker file and a context. So here another question is, what is the context? Okay, I'll show you. And the other one is, the Docker daemon runs the instructions in the Docker file one by one. The Docker daemon runs the instructions. When we execute Docker build, what will happen? The Docker build command, the daemon will read the Docker file one by one, committing the result of each instruction to a new image if necessary before finally outputting the ID of a new image. So when we create an image, it will create a new ID. Every new image, it will have a different image ID, and that image ID is unique. Okay, whenever possible, Docker will reuse the intermediate image from the cache to accelerate the Docker build process significantly. So here in Docker file, we'll have few more questions. We'll get it. The cache things. This is also important. What is this? We'll get it cache, and it will accelerate the image build process. Okay. The point here is, what is this context? The context is, remember, in a simple thing, the context, the daemon will treat the context area where the Docker file is available. Where the Docker file is available, that area will be your context area. Then what this context area contains? This context area contains the files, the libraries, the binaries, or the instructions, whatever is written in the Docker file, what you need the image to build, everything will be available in the context area. And a good thing is, when as a DevOps engineer you are writing or you are building your own image, make sure no uh, unnecessary things are available in the untest area, because whatever junk, whatever things which is not necessary for you, don't keep in the context area. If you keep the context
Context.
area, that will be added into your image during the build process. When you build the image, it will be added to your image, and it unnecessary will be, your image will be heavyweight. It will be unnecessary, the size of your image will be increases. Okay, that we'll see in details. Okay, now that is the context area, you understood. And when we do our create our own Docker file, that will understand clearly again. Okay, now uh, okay, this is the command to build the, this is very simple. To create the image is very simple. Only one command you have to use, that is called docker build. Docker build hyphen t, and give the tag, that is whatever you want, and just create it. That is very simple to create the image. Only docker build hyphen t and give the image name, and you will be giving a dot. Dot means the current context area. Okay, now let's see.
Uh-huh.
So this is okay, this commands anyway, I'll do tell you. This is a sample Docker file. This is a sample Docker file. Okay, let me create one simple Docker, and before that, I'll show you one. I'll give you this link, and you can keep it handy for your practice. Okay, this link will have all the Docker command references. Docker file command, not Docker command. Docker command is different and Docker file is different. Okay, so here we'll have
Yeah,
all the Docker reference commands run, or here all the labels: add, copy, entry point, expose, label, working directory, run. And you would have seen, right, when we connect to a container, there will be a working directory, right? for this, suppose it is running, this Apache server is running, right? What is the working directory of this Apache? The working directory of this Apache is set as user local Apache 2. This is the working directory. Okay, let me show you. If I connect to the container, right? dc exec -it, just container. See, this is the working directory of the container. I entered to the, when I entered to the container, I directly landed into the directory because that is the working directory of the container. So the container will start from this directory. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Now let me just tell you more details. So let me create one simple file. Okay. And here, okay, index.html is there. Let me create one folder. Remember, whenever you are building an image for your project, new image, you should be create a new context area, new folder, or that folder you are going to make the context area. Suppose I'm going to create a new folder. The folder name I created as mime pros. Okay, mime project. So I go to this mime project. Okay, so here I'm going to write my Docker file. So what we have to do, simple, as I told, it's a simple Docker file. So here there will be no extension to the file. It's a simple file. Okay, let me copy these things and I'm going to add it here, and I'll tell
Oh, okay.
the file name will be Docker file. That is
Docker file.
Jenkins file. J was capital, and then Jenkins file, and here D is capital, and Docker file no extension. Okay, in Jenkins file also there was no extension. Now then enter. Now I'm going to add. Okay, so you'll be worried, right? So how I'll know to write all this? The first thing is from. This line is called actually the base image. What I'm going to do, from BusyVox. Actually, BusyVox is a very lightweight image, small Linux platform. Okay, if I go and search for BusyVox here, search, sorry, not this one, search here, BusyVox. So see BusyVox, it is official image. So let's see what is this BusyVox, more details. If I go for BusyVox, so what it says, BusyVox combines tiny version of many common Unix utilities into a single executable. There are many Unix utilities files available in this BusyVox. It's a simple, a very lightweight container. Okay, image file. In that image, it has lots of simple utilities available. So what it utilities? These utilities you can find it out all details about this. To create whatever, this Docker file will allow to create minimal image to your statical compiled binary. Okay, okay, so that's fine. Let me create our own image. What I did, I got this BusyBox tiny Unix box. Okay, BusyBox, that is the my base image. Remember, first line will be, should be your base image. On top of your base image, you are adding few more layers into it, and those layers are the nothing but the instructions. Okay, nothing but the instructions of the image. What I'm going to do next, I am going to copy test.sh /var. Okay, let me create one test.sh first. So this is my context area now. My proj is my context area. So in this context area, I'm going to add, so I have already Docker file created. I'm going to create, suppose, one test.sh file, and in this test.sh, I'm going to add, I'm just writing few print statement here. So what happened? I created a simple test.sh file. So let just give me the executable permission to this file. Okay. I just gave Apple 7. That's fine. Okay. And now I made this file as executable. So what is this in context area? I have the Docker file. Remember where the Docker file will be there, that area will be your context area. So this is my context area now. In this area, I have one file called test.sh, and I'm going to write my Docker file now. So first thing is I'm copying. So using this copy command and from command from bgbox, copy this file to the first one, the file from the host machine, and the /var is the container path. Okay. So how we'll get about this copy and from and working directory and these commands all are the uppercase, right? So if we go to this Docker file reference, you'll find here, see, we have few from. If I go to from, so it'll give how to use this from. Everything is there. From image, okay, and run command, cmd command. Suppose copy command we use, right? Copy. If I go to copy source this
Copy caps.
copy should be all commands should be capital letter. Remember, all should be uppercase,
Capital M.
everything. And the file name, if you want to change the permissions, also change ownership also, you can still change it, and while copying itself, and then give source and destination path, that will be done, right? If I go here, same thing I have written, copy file name, source, and the destination. Then working directory, I want the container to work from this directory /var. Okay, so
Oh,
this
okay.
is working directory. If I go for this command search, see, we have one working directory, work dir, right? Click this, see, work dir. The work directory instruction sets the working directory for any run, cmd, entry point, copy, add. For all these commands, that will be your working directory. So I'm going to set the working directory as var. Then I'm executing the cmd command here, cmd, and that will be going to execute this ./test.sh from this path. I'm going to execute this script from this path. Okay. Now all these instructions I added to the Docker file. Okay, I added the Docker file. Now I'm going to create my own image. I'm going to create my own image. So what is the command? Docker build -t. Give a tag to this. Suppose I give as my name as Docker for Ranjit. Okay, then give a name like this is some. I can give simple simple print the command, the image name. Okay, and I gave a version as 1.0. Then I have to give the context area. Then what is the context area? Dot, because I am in the same folder of the context,
Current. Okay.
I'm just going to dot here because my Docker file. So where the Docker file is available, you have to accordingly pass it here. So my Docker file is available in the same folder, I'm going to pass it. If it is in a different folder, so what you have to use, you have to use -f option. Docker build -f and give the Docker file the path, total path name, and then execute it. Okay, now I just hit enter. Good. So I got permission denied. So let me
Yeah.
see. I had 4 steps in the image, in the instructions. First, step one,
Yeah. Yeah.
the base image, run, latest pull the image. Second one is to copy the file to var. and third one is the making working directory. In the fourth one, how many layers? 4 layers we have. Now our image is created. So if I do, see, I have created one image called Docker for Ranjit simple print. This is the image tag 1.0. Now I'm going to create a container, run a container out of that. Okay. So what I'm going to do, simply use Docker run. Okay. This time I'm not running in the backend because this is a simple script which I want to display the result in the front end, right? So I'm going simply leaving
Okay,
it.
yeah.
Docker run,
Active
give a
interact.
name or no interact. I'm just simply leaving it. Okay.
Ah,
Okay.
okay.
Docker run, or I can use Docker container run. Okay. Docker container run. Okay. Hit it. Okay. What is the error? Can anybody tell me? Can anybody tell me what is the error?
You will push the image to Docker Hub. Okay?
No. What it says, from the error itself, we can understand what is this.
Uh, Unable to find Docker error response from daemon manifest.
Okay. If you tell this one, I think 30% on Docker you understood at least. If you don't tell, then you don't understand anything.
uh, algorithm.
Just see the C
I
and
think
try to tell.
that daemon some problem or
No. First line itself is there. The answer is there in the
It
first.
is trying to find from locally. It is unable to find.
Okay, that's okay.
that is okay, but second line actually
No.
that is the
No,
catch.
the answer itself is the in the first line. Okay, if you don't tell, I'll tell.
Then locally it's not finding, na, Ranjit?
Why it is not finding. That's the question.
Register it is not
Sorry.
there. In register it is not there.
No, it is locally finding, but it is unable to find the image locally. But the locally image is there, right? It's not able to find it.
Maybe okay, simple pre. Okay.
Read that line
Sim-
perfectly, and you'll understand. You'll find the answer there in the line itself. First line, unable to find image. You'll find the answer there itself.
The path is incorrect.
No, we don't give path, right? We give only image name.
Then we need to give the latest or run command. We need to add latest. Any by default it will take the latest, no?
Yes. So here is the answer. By default, it is taking latest, but we don't have any
Hmm.
latest, right? We have a tag
Okay,
called
okay.
1.0, but I gave only the image name which by default takes latest
It
version.
will latest.
So
Huh.
latest, we don't have any latest one. We have a tag called 1.0. We don't have a tag called.
Okay, tag.
So that is why I was telling
Uh,
forcefully to read this line. It is called latest here.
yeah, correct there. Yeah.
So that's why it did not find locally. Now
And
I'm
then we are
even
zero actually, Ranjit.
it did not find locally. Also, it did not find in the registry also.
Tagged one also.
In the
Register.
registry also. So daemon failed. Okay. That's why we have to path here give 1.0. That's why is the first thing is this is a question. If you run this by default, it will take latest version called latest. And if this latest tag is not there locally, then it will try to find it registry. From registry.file, it will fail. And same thing also happened here. It is unable to find colon latest, but we don't have any latest here. We have only 1.0. Now I'm just hit enter. Got it. See, my container run and it printed all the output. I print hello Docker.
Yeah.
Today is this date, and I am in this var folder of container. Okay. So now if I do Docker container ls, we have ls-a, our containers will be there. See, this is the container, this is the image used, and the command, whatever a command is executed and exited 26 seconds created ago. 26 seconds. Got it? This type of command, if you need something to be printed in the front, you can write directly docker run no it no d hyphen d. If I use hyphen it, what will happen? It will be display the result. That's okay, but it will be attached to the terminal. It will be
Terminal. Okay.
attached to the terminal. So let's see what is happening. I'm going to run hyphen it.
Yeah. Showed alert. Yeah.
Hyphen it. Okay. So as it is very small one, it came out from the interactive mode. It gave the same result.
Okay.
Now you now understood where to use this hyphen it or without hyphen it or hyphen d. Hyphen d is to detach mode. Okay. So if I give hyphen d, it will be run in the background and I will not see the result.
That ID one, ID two. Yeah. Correct.
So now how many containers, guys, I will have?
How many containers?
Now how many containers will be there? Okay, before I had two containers. Now will be another container I executed. So it will be now 3 containers, right? See,
Another. Yeah.
but this time we have a different name. Loving, Robin, gifted, Archimedes. What is this name, guys?
It is creating some specific name means round robin process.
Yes. So if you don't specify any name to your container, the daemon will decided what names to be created, and it is creating a round robin case and for some kind of funny names randomly.
Names. Okay.
Funny names
Randomly. Okay.
randomly. But well, in organization, always make sure that you specify a name. Like I specify Apache UI. This is organizational name. Like this is for Apache UI. So you can use this like the name. Okay, hyphen name,
Yeah.
name of the container, and then execute it. Okay, guys. So we learned how to create what is Dockerfile and how to build our own image. Okay, how to build our own image. But there are a lot more commands and lot of things that one will discuss in our tomorrow. Not tomorrow. We don't have class, so we'll discuss in our Tuesday's class. Okay, I'll try to upload this video maybe in another 1 or 2 hours. Just do practice. I know Jenkins, you are still have not completed as these tools are not.
Very much lagging.
Yeah, as these tools are not interrelated. At least do practice today. I'm going to upload these videos. I already have 3 videos on Docker uploaded. Just try to do practice on those 3 first. I'll upload these videos right away. Do practice. Okay, next class we'll discuss about all these commands. Okay, all these commands, these volumes. All volumes already we have uh, created, but covered, but still we can see about these volumes. Okay, and how to add the volumes also directly in the image. See, whatever the so far the volume we had created during the runtime, during the running of the image, like when creating the container, that time we give specify in the command line itself. But now we see how we can add the volumes in the image itself. That we'll see in our next classes. All these commands we'll discuss, and also we'll discuss some interview related questions tomorrow, not tomorrow, next class. Okay, and once this is finished, we'll cover Docker Compose. So far we are running single containers, right? Then we'll discuss about the multi containers by using Docker Compose. That is important to run the multi container. How we'll create and how we'll work on multi container, and there we'll do one real time project. one Java application,
Okay.
one MySQL databases, and we'll connect each other and we'll link each other and we'll discuss about that. Okay.